Welcome to this week's episode of Stories Untold, where we celebrate a woman who started her company with the sole intention to empower the youth of South Africa. Let us meet Nomsa, the CEO of OS Holdings.
OS Holdings was established in 2012 by then 33-year-old Nomsa Nteleko. Today, the company has grown from 3 to 31 employees, with 85% of the staff complement being the youth. Nomsa took us back to where it all started.
I knew I wanted to succeed, but I did not know how it looked like. And I think God literally paved my path. Looking from the very first job that I had, I was a receptionist at a GP, and my second job, I was a sales consultant.
It was in this space that Nomsa saw a gap and set out to take as much as she possibly can before branching into entrepreneurship.
It was a huge leap of faith, but I believe that the minute I started my business, I knew that it was not just about the services that we're offering. We don't have a lot of black people, let alone black women, in our space in the ICT in South Africa. So it's a space I wanted to break open, to say black graduates, they need to see what we do as a career opportunity. Hence, then we started working, and I employed graduates, and we started to build this empire. 10 years down the line, we have about 4 business units that could literally be separate companies. We also not operating in South Africa. We have clients that are sitting outside South Africa. We want to grow outside South Africa. And the reason for me that is that as a young person, you need to understand that if you have skills, you can be sitting in Johannesburg but servicing a client in India. You can be servicing a client in the UK. You can be a company here sitting in South Africa and doing business with Eswatini, for instance, doing business with Zimbabwe, for instance. The technology allows us to be who we are. We literally chart the path that we want to embark on as people.
Those who have been beneficiaries of Nomsa's vision have been evolving and growing in this 10-year-old brainchild.
I resigned from my previous job and joined OS Holdings January 2015, and joining being a receptionist and just doing a bit of invoicing and arranging the team's traveling. So that's how it started. From then it was that admin work. 2017 I did project management.
Zwelakhe met Nomsa when his career needed to take off after he had acquired his qualification. Today, these two are business partners, and he shared with us what contribution OS Holdings has had in his career growth.
That would be 2012. I was fresh from my studies, and I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to start my own SME in the space of accounting professionals. And I approached an entity by the name of Sage and did a pitch for them. They were quite excited, but baffled as to how they could assist me, because I was trying to come up with a technology of my own that could help accounting professionals. So, be as it were, I met my competitive giant, and they had a lady who was working in the public sector, and they were very adamant that I should meet her. They organized a meet with her, and lo and behold, I met Nomsa. Then I would say 12 months later, she approached me to join her, and I was a bit reluctant because I think I was also ambitious of my own journey, but later realized that, through working with her, it could take me a step to open and realize my vision. And we stuck together for about now almost 10 years. And 9 years later, I decided I want to venture into what I really wanted, which was software development at the time. And we had a conversation about it. I had to step down as then managing director of OS Holdings. And I started a company. Shortly, COVID hit. We were working from home. And I think she was very supportive at that time. We had quarterly sessions where we catch up, mainly as friends now and not business associates. And I think that reinvented the relationship that we have for each other and the respect that we have each other. And shortly after, in 2023, we decided to start a subsidiary for OS Holdings, and we're back again working together.
Nomsa is intentional about allowing her employees to shine in their skills. During a conference that the company held for different municipality stakeholders, Rorisans was one of OS facilitators. He joined OS Holdings soon after his graduation as an intern.
Nomsa, I saw her from across the table. We had a session at Sage. So I was part of the first individuals who were part of the Sage program. Sage program, it's a learnership program. So I'll call it the guinea pig, guys. So one of the first people, there was one night where they brought in business partners. So Nomsa was one of the business partners, and in that night, that's why I saw Nomsa across the room, right? But I had not known who is Nomsa, I did not know at all. Nomsa was just in love with me. I'm in love with her, and I think we clicked because of I'll bring it up again, the hunger. We had the same energy. We were all looking for the same thing. So the vision was almost the same. The values that we had were the same. So yeah, that's my journey in coming to OS Holdings or meeting Nomsa. Nomsa's role was motherly, sisterly, caring role. She wanted all of us to grow. She's very ambitious about upbringing of the youth, empowering the youth, and putting them in, getting them into business or entrepreneurship. So her role, she put me in positions where I could blossom. She looked at me and understood to say, oh, it seems like your mind is here, and she was closer to me, as part of also the other people in the business. But she's like that. She gets close to the employees and starts to engage with the employees on a personal level and say and try to dig deep into their mindset and what they're thinking and what they dream of, right? So she was pivotal into my growth, because she said, let me sit you down. Let's talk about what you think you love. What is this that you understand? And what I'm gonna do afterwards, I'm gonna put you in that position that I think you're gonna grow fast, very fast. And she did it for me. She gave me an opportunity. She said, let me put you here and just run with it. Just have fun with it. That's her.
Women in business have to juggle between creating a home and managing their career, but sometimes very hard decisions have to be made.
Nomsa's entrepreneurial journey is not one without hurdles, compromises, and losses. Nomsa found herself having to choose between her success and fighting for her marriage. After her failed marriage, this successful entrepreneur shares her views on life and work balance in this way.
The call that I took was not an easy one, in a sense that when you grow up as a girl, you are told that go to school, get educated, get married, have children, and happily ever after will be your life. But we are never prepared to say, if you succeed in life, the partner that you will have, how to deal with marriage as a very successful woman, how to deal with a man who feels emasculated by your success, You know, we don't know how to deal with that. I don't even have answers today. But I would always continuously encourage a woman to, for me, it was as simple as I should be able to buy my own panties. That simple. But I came across an environment where my former husband said, "You did not prepare me for your success." And it bugs me, irks me, you know, and that creates a lot of challenges in a relationship. We also deal with a lot of guilt where you are expected to be a 9 to 5, or as a woman, you're expected to deliver dinner at 7. At 7, I'm sitting in a meeting with a prospective client, meaning I'm not able to deliver dinner for my husband at that particular moment. How do we bring men in as we are emancipating women? There's a black empowerment, there's a woman empowerment. How do we bring in men who need to marry these women? Because at the end of the day, they need to marry, they need to have families. And I don't believe I should choose between having a family, having a husband, and having a business and being impactful. I shouldn't have to choose.
Nomsa had her son as a teenager, and the two have forged a beautiful relationship.
I always say to God that I'm grateful that He entrusted me with His life. He's a beautiful soul, he's a kind soul. He's an old soul as well. We have an amazing relationship. Our relationship has not been easy. You can imagine where you are born of a mom who's 16, who's still figuring out her life. You know, I was still figuring out my life when Tlantla came into my world. And we literally journeyed together, and we continue to journey together.
The fondest memories with my moms would be going to movies. We used to like going to movies. When we, like, let's say she had like her last money, she would say, do you want us to buy food or do you want to go to movies? As a child, you know, you always choose movies. We'll forget about the food. We'll eat later. So those are the fondest memories together.
Ntlantla, who initially grew up with his grandmother, recalls how his mother's divorce changed both their lives.
At some point I was sad for her, you know, because she loved the husband, you know, and I don't think for any relationship to like break up is like a good thing for anyone, especially if you are married to that person. It was quite sad to see her go through what she went through when she was with that person, because she did love him, and at the beginning it was amazing. They were having a beautiful time, going on trips. She seemed happy. By the end of it, I think most women want to get married. I think if your marriage would be crashing, you would be distorted. So that was quite sad. I had to come back home, try to help out with maybe the garden, try to help out with like the stuff that he would be doing. So I had to take that initiative and be there for her in that way, and come back home.
As if that was not enough for this family, Nomsa had to take care and eventually bury her brother, who succumbed to stage 4 cancer.
That changed her a bit because my uncle was like his friend and like number 2 yake. So they would they had the dream together to get the family out of poverty. So that pushed her more into working harder. Now she's no longer has time for family because she feels alone at some point. So she has to constantly work harder because no one else is doing the same thing that she was. Because if you had umtu obambisana naye, akasekho lo muntu obambisana naye. So that was also like sad for her. For me, I think losing my uncle, I'm still dealing with it. Most of the time I try not to think about it because he was like a father to me. So trying to think on what he went through would like makes me sad. So I try not to think about it. So I'm in the denial stage at this stage.
That one is always a hard one, in two ways, and I'll explain why. So, firstly, as Black families, we don't really understand cancer. And when it hits a family, it literally changes who you guys are. Now, healthcare is important for any family. And if you think about it, like I'm saying, healthcare is a right, is a human right. And many families do not have that opportunity of taking care of their own, the way in which they want to take care of them. It gets to a point where your loved one can't do anything for themselves. It's either you take them to a hospice or you bring a nurse 24/7 to take care of them. So that journey really affected us very negatively, and I think we are yet to heal from it, and it rendered me powerless, completely powerless, because if I could do anything to save his life, I would. But the best we could do was to give him the best care that we could. And we need to continue educating or getting educated about such things. And it actually also brings things like your African medicine, which we don't understand. So as Black people, I can say that we don't understand Black medicine. We don't understand the Western medicine. We literally, we are in no man's land. And I think it's one of the things that we really have to look at and have discussions, frank discussions about. If I have cancer, you can't come and say, uloyiwe. This is witchcraft. We need to understand, where does it come from? Is it our food? Is it genetics? What exactly is this thing? So I always wonder how my mother felt if I still can't get over my brother's passing.
Not only did Nomsa give these young people a job, but she also conscientized them to think out of the box.
In the crisis of unemployment that is facing the youth of 2023, Nomsa is adamant that change is needed.
Our young people are our future, so it makes me sad when sometimes we see young people that don't seem to have direction, simply because of lack of employment in South Africa. I believe that young people need to look and think out of the box to say, yes, there's no employment, but what is it that you're doing as a young person? Are you reskilling yourself? Are you relearning new skills? My vision of young people that we bring here at OS Holdings is, one, I want to create a super team. I want to create entrepreneurs.
Nomsa continues to positively influence those around her.
We are living in tumultuous times. The reality is opportunities are far and wide in between, and waiting on that promise of a call back from just sending a CV is no longer enough. It's very competitive out there. And also to those who aspire to start their business, it is just as tough, if not worse. The main thing that you need to go out there is that you are the change that the universe needs. Without you taking initiative and believing in yourself, it's very rare that it will just be falling on your lap. You need to push doors. You need to not take no for an answer. And also understand that because we are living in tough times, things do take time, but always believe that a dream deferred is not a dream denied. Do not quit on your visions. Do not quit on what you want to achieve for your life. Keep sowing the seed. Keep interacting with people in the similar spaces that you want. Make sure that you anchor yourself with someone that you look up to. have coaches, life coaches in business, if that is in your career space as well, that will always catch up with you in terms of they will remember you when they're in those spaces and they will speak on your behalf. But if you just sit back and wait for things to happen, you might wait a long time.
It's not all doom and gloom. It's not all done. Try to try to find that thing that you are passionate about, that thing that you think, I'm hungry for, I'm hungry to learn. I think if we start talking to the youth and talking to them from a personal level and say, hey, come dude, let's talk. Well, when you wake up, what excites you? What do you think about? I think the hunger, the eagerness, the questions will start flowing. I believe so, and put them in the right position, put them next to the people that have been here before.
Nomsa's work has not gone unnoticed. Her accolades are evidence to the fact that she is here to make an impact.
My awards are in our space, in the Sage community, in the industry, and as well as international. It simply says that there are those people that are saying, we recognize the work that you do as a woman in technology. It's not easy. The challenges we face is that when you walk into a company and you're a woman and you're a woman of color, first of all, they don't believe that you're going to achieve what you set yourself to achieve. Secondly, somehow they think there's a backing of a white man behind you. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but you know, you need to be acknowledged for the hard work that you're doing. So it's really challenging for us to be running successful businesses, let alone scaling a business where you move from a 2-man show to a 30-man show. It's really, really not easy. So every time I look at an award that we have, be it of service excellence, I know that we must not get tired of what we are doing. It's a tough journey, but we must not get tired.
More rewarding than the awards is the positive influence she has left in those she groomed when they really needed support in their careers.
She's already doing a great job. She's excelling at it. And the journey can get lonely at times, but she must always be reminded that, you know, there's a message she always shared to say a candle doesn't lose its lights by sharing it with another candle. And there's more candles out there because of her. And she must just look back at the journey and she'll realize that she's a trailblazer. She left a trail of hopeful people that appreciate the journey and are also willing to pay it forward. She's done a great job. She must continue doing such.
It starts with thank you. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for entrusting me with parts of your legacy, which is the business. Thank you for seeing me. Even sometimes I doubted myself. You still said, but no, man, Rory, you know this thing. It helps when somebody says, actually, you know this thing, man. So you know it. Thank you, Nomsa. You've been a parent to me. You've been a sister to me. You've been loving, caring, understanding at times, too understanding at times. But I hope God blesses you, your family, because you've been something else to us, to me especially.
We hope this week's episode has encouraged young people who have been facing huge unemployment. And as for the big companies, we hope you are inspired to give these young people an opportunity.